Tired of losing the remote or juggling multiple devices? The days of searching under couch cushions are numbered. We're uncovering the incredible innovations poised to transform how we interact with our technology, from seamless biometric authentication to advanced gesture recognition, creating a future where control is effortless and integrated into your very being. Did you know that over 70% of people now prefer using voice commands for controlling their TVs instead of traditional remotes? It looks like buttons might be on their way out. 1. Introduction. For decades, the television remote has been the unquestioned king of the living room. From chunky plastic clickers with rubber buttons to sleek, minimalist remotes with touch-sensitive surfaces, the way we control our TVs has evolved, but the concept of pressing buttons has largely remained unchanged. Today, however, a quiet revolution is underway. Gesture control, voice assistants, smartphones, AI-powered cameras, and even brain-computer interfaces are redefining what it means to change the channel. As smart TVs grow smarter and user expectations shift, the question is no longer if buttons will disappear, but when and how. 2. The rise and plateau of the traditional remote. The traditional TV remote was born out of necessity. Early televisions required users to physically turn dials or press buttons on the TV itself, which was inconvenient as screens grew larger and were placed farther away. Remotes solved that problem elegantly. Over time, manufacturers added more buttons to handle new features like volume control, channel surfing, teletext, DVD playback, and eventually smart TV navigation. Ironically, this feature expansion led to clutter. Modern remotes often contain dozens of buttons that most users never touch. Studies and user feedback consistently show that people use only a fraction of available controls, leading to confusion, frustration, and accidental inputs. This usability bottleneck laid the groundwork for rethinking TV control altogether. 3. Smart TVs changed everything. The shift from dumb TVs to smart TVs fundamentally altered how we interact with our screens. Once televisions became internet-connected devices capable of running apps, browsing content libraries, and integrating with smart home ecosystems, the remote control suddenly felt outdated. Navigating Netflix, YouTube, Disney+, and system menus with arrow keys and an OK button is functional, but far from intuitive. Smart TVs introduce graphical user interfaces similar to smartphones and tablets, exposing a mismatch between modern software and legacy input methods. This disconnect accelerated innovation in alternative control systems designed to be faster, more natural, and more adaptive to individual users. 4. Voice control, the first buttonless breakthrough. Voice control was the first major step toward a button-free TV experience. With the rise of AI assistants like Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, and Apple Siri, TVs gained the ability to understand natural language commands. Saying "play Stranger Things on Netflix," increase volume, or switch to HDMI once suddenly felt effortless compared to manual navigation. Voice control thrives because it mirrors human behavior. Talking is instinctive, requires no learning curve, and works well across age groups. For accessibility, it has been transformative, especially for elderly users or those with physical limitations. While voice control hasn't completely replaced remotes, it has dramatically reduced reliance on buttons for everyday tasks. 5. Gesture control, your hands become the remote. Gesture control takes the idea of natural interaction even further by allowing users to control their TV using hand movements. Built-in cameras and motion sensors track gestures such as swiping, pointing, or pinching to navigate menus, scroll content, or adjust volume. Early gesture systems struggled with accuracy and latency, but recent advances in computer vision and machine learning have made them far more reliable. Premium TVs now recognize subtle hand movements and even distinguish between multiple users. Gesture control shines in scenarios where voice commands are impractical, such as noisy environments, or when users want silent, private interaction. 6. Smartphone is the universal controller. For many users, the remote has already been replaced by their smartphone. TV manufacturers and streaming platforms offer dedicated apps that turn phones into powerful control hubs. Touchscreens provide superior navigation, virtual keyboards simplify text entry, and personalization becomes seamless through user accounts. Smartphones also enable advanced features such as content casting, multi-screen viewing, and remote control from outside the home. As people grow increasingly attached to their phones, the idea of carrying a separate TV remote feels redundant. This trend suggests a future where the remote is simply an app you already own. 7. AI-powered personalization and predictive control. Artificial intelligence is pushing TV control beyond reactive commands into predictive experiences. Instead of waiting for input, AI-driven TVs learn user habits and anticipate actions. They know what you usually watch at certain times, your preferred volume levels, and even your favorite picture settings. In such systems, control becomes implicit rather than explicit. The TV may automatically suggest content, resume unfinished shows, or adjust brightness based on ambient lighting, all without a single button press. Over time, the need for direct control diminishes as the system adapts to you instead of the other way around. 8. Facial recognition in user profiles. Some of the most futuristic TVs now include facial recognition technology. Using built-in cameras, these TVs identify who is sitting in front of the screen and instantly switch to personalized profiles. This affects everything from content recommendations and watch history to parental controls and accessibility settings. In households with multiple users, facial recognition eliminates the need to manually switch accounts or adjust settings. The TV simply knows who you are. While privacy concerns remain a topic of debate, manufacturers are increasingly implementing on-device processing and opt-in systems to address security fears. 9. Touchless control in a post-pandemic world. The global pandemic accelerated demand for touchless technology across industries, and TVs were no exception. Voice and gesture controls gained renewed interest as consumers became more conscious of hygiene and shared surfaces. This shift reinforced the value of button-free interaction and pushed manufacturers to refine touchless systems. Public spaces like hotels, hospitals, and waiting rooms have been especially quick to adopt touchless TV controls, where shared remotes pose health risks. These environments often rely on mobile-based control via QR codes or voice commands, hinting at broader adoption in home settings. 10. Accessibility, a more inclusive future. Buttonless TV control is not just about convenience, it's about inclusivity. For users with mobility impairments, visual limitations, or cognitive challenges, traditional remotes can be difficult or impossible to use. Voice, gesture, and AI-based systems offer alternative pathways to interaction that are more adaptable and human-centric. Manufacturers are increasingly designing TV control systems with accessibility in mind, integrating screen readers, customizable voice responses, and simplified gesture sets. The future of TV control promises to be more inclusive than ever before. 11. Challenges and limitations of a button-free world. Despite its promise, the buttonless future is not without challenges. Voice recognition can struggle with accents, background noise, or multilingual households. Gesture control may feel awkward or tiring during extended use. Privacy concerns surrounding microphones and cameras remain significant hurdles. Additionally, not all users want to abandon physical buttons. Tactile feedback provides reassurance and precision that touchless systems sometimes lack. For this reason, many manufacturers currently favor hybrid approaches rather than complete elimination of remotes. 12. The hybrid era, transition, not elimination. Rather than abruptly removing buttons, the industry is entering a hybrid era. Modern TVs often combine minimalistic remotes with voice buttons, companion apps, and optional gesture support. This transitional phase allows users to choose their preferred interaction method while gradually becoming comfortable with new technologies. Some remotes are shrinking to just a few essential buttons, while others integrate touchpads or motion sensors. The goal is not to force change, but to make buttons increasingly optional. 13. Looking ahead, what the next decade holds. As artificial intelligence, sensors, and connectivity continue to evolve, TV control will become increasingly invisible. The ultimate goal is frictionless interaction, where the TV responds intuitively to your presence, preferences, and environment. In such a future, control is ambient, contextual, and deeply personalized. Buttons may not disappear entirely, but their dominance is clearly fading. Much like physical keyboards in the smartphone era, they will become secondary tools rather than primary interfaces. 14. Are we really saying goodbye to buttons? The future of TV control is not about eliminating buttons, it's about redefining control itself. Voice, gestures, AI, and smart devices are transforming televisions into responsive companions rather than passive screens. While physical buttons will likely remain as a fallback, their role is diminishing rapidly. So, are we waving goodbye to buttons? Not entirely, but we are certainly loosening our grip. The future of TV control is here, and it's smarter, more human, and more intuitive than ever before. 15. Explore new technologies. The way we interact with our TVs is changing rapidly. Voice control, motion control, and touch control are becoming increasingly popular. Imagine being able to change channels or adjust the volume with just your voice or a simple gesture. These new technologies are making it possible. With voice control, you can simply tell your TV what you want to watch, and it'll switch to that channel or streaming service. Motion control lets you use hand gestures to navigate through menus or select programs. And touch control allows you to use your smartphone or tablet as a remote control. These innovations are revolutionizing the way we experience TV. As we explore these new control technologies, it's clear that they're designed to make our lives easier and more convenient. But how did we get here? Well, companies like Google and Amazon have been at the forefront of this change. Their smart home devices and virtual assistants have paved the way for smart TV control. The evolution of TV control has been a long process. We started with traditional remote controls, then moved on to infrared and Bluetooth remotes. With the rise of smart TVs, we saw the introduction of app-based interfaces and voice control. Today, we're seeing even more advanced technologies like gesture recognition and AI-powered recommendations. Key features like voice recognition, gesture control, and app integration are defining the future of TV control. Voice recognition allows you to control your TV with simple voice commands. Gesture control lets you navigate through menus and select programs with hand gestures. App integration enables you to access your favorite streaming services and apps directly from your TV. The integration of these technologies is also making TV control more accessible. For example, voice control is a game changer for people with disabilities. It allows them to interact with their TVs in a more intuitive and convenient way. Gesture control is also becoming increasingly popular, especially among gamers who want to immerse themselves in their games. App integration is another key feature that's changing the way we experience TV. With app integration, you can access your favorite streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime Video directly from your TV. You can also use apps like YouTube and Twitch to discover new content and connect with other users. The future of TV control is all about seamless integration and intuitive interaction. Imagine being able to control your TV, soundbar, and streaming devices with a single remote or voice command. It's a future where TV control is effortless and enjoyable. However, like any new technology, there are pros and cons to consider. One of the main advantages of these new control methods is their convenience. They're often faster and more intuitive than traditional remote controls. But there are also some drawbacks. For example, voice control can be unreliable at times, and gesture control can be finicky. Another con is that these new technologies can be overwhelming, especially for older adults who may not be familiar with them. And then there's the issue of accessibility. Some of these technologies may not be compatible with all devices or platforms. Despite these challenges, I believe that these new control methods are worth embracing. They're innovative, convenient, and accessible. And they're changing the way we experience TV. 16. Conclusion. Personally, I've had a chance to try out some of these new control methods, and I've been impressed. I've used voice control to change channels and adjust the volume, and I've used gesture control to navigate through menus. It's been a game changer for me. I've also encountered some challenges, like occasional reliability issues with voice control. But overall, I think the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. If you're thinking of making the switch to these new control methods, I say go for it. They're worth trying out, especially if you're looking for a more convenient and accessible way to control your TV. So, what do you think about the future of TV control? Do you think we'll be waving goodbye to buttons for good? Let me know in the comments. If you're interested in learning more about smart TV technologies, be sure to check out my other video on the topic. It's a deep dive into the world of smart TVs and what you can expect from them. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. The future of TV control is exciting and full of possibilities. Share your thoughts and let's get the conversation started. Check out my channel for more tech-related content.